Okay, we're going to talk about a topic that most people don't share about publicly, reincarnation. So, what is reincarnation? Well, reincarnation is whatever you believe it to be. And you may not even believe it exists, and that's perfectly okay. People who believe in reincarnation don't speak about it like it's the truth. We just don't. Why? Because we respect that people's truth is what they believe. So I want to share from my perspective. And some things might resonate with you and some may not. And it's perfectly okay. I'm not saying you have to take on anything I say as the truth. It's my truth, but it's not the truth. I hope you understand the difference there. Okay, so let me share a couple of things here. I've always known that we had another life, either before or after this one. I grew up a Catholic, so I very much believed in the afterlife and we had somewhere to go. But one thing I could never reconcile with was I was also a mathematician. I ended up becoming an engineer and I went through university mathematics. I could never come to terms with the fact that there was a specific beginning, but there was no end. Okay, let me say that again. When has infinity ever had a start and no end? If you really believe in infinity, then it has no beginning. Let me start that again. Infinity is infinite. So how can infinity have a starting? Big Bang has a starting point. Infinity doesn't. Okay, that got me thinking. I remember talking to the priest and the Monsignor, who was the one who ran our parish, asking lots of questions at the age of 10. Saying, how come this is true? And how can you say that? How come it doesn't fit here? And he'd just say, well, that's just an act of faith. Now, I believe in acts of faith. I believe in miracles. If you're not sure about that, watch my video, What's Possible. So I believe in miracles. I believe in having faith. But what does that really mean? Well, have you ever wondered why when you meet someone who you know, and and it doesn't matter what they say to you, anyone else says to you, you know them. And you search your data bank, they search their data bank, their memories, and you can't work out where you would have possibly met this lifetime. Well, you know why you couldn't find the place? Because it wasn't from this lifetime. It's from some time in the past. So, have you ever wondered why you have affinities for certain places and why you don't have affinity for other places? How could that be? You've never been there before. Or have you? Maybe you had a bad experience in a particular place in the past and you just don't want to go back there. Or maybe you had great experience from the past and you do want to go back there. So reincarnation. Let's just for a moment suspend any belief that it's not your truth. Let's just put that aside. You can come back to it later. We're not throwing it out, so don't panic. Let's just put it aside for a moment and let's take on like we would a costume. You get on stage and you're acting out a role. We got the script there, and then afterwards you go back to your normal self. So let's do that for right now. So let's put on the costume of reincarnation exists. Now start to have a look at all the different things in your life that kind of make sense now as a result of that. Why have certain relationships? It particularly happens with people you really care about. Why is it that we feel we have an affinity with this group of people and not that group of people? And it's not always the people we grow up with. Sometimes the people we grow up with aren't the ones we have affinity with. With me it is. But most people it isn't. And then they find what they call their tribe. Everyone talks about their tribe nowadays. What does that mean? I think that's our spiritual family. They're people we've moved through eons of time with as a group of souls. And we meet up again. We meet up again because we want to continue to pursue our own spiritual development, our understanding of ourselves. That's not a complicated thing to understand. We say that about one lifetime. But just imagine, expand that to multiple lifetimes, having multiple experiences. Who's seen Groundhog Day? Isn't that a classic? I love that movie. You know why I love it? Because it's so close to my truth. Understanding what reincarnation is about. We do things over and over until we get it right. Why do we see one movie 10 times? We see one movie once. We say, I'm never watching that one again. It's not an experience we want to have. But the ones we do want to have, we have over and over. And we perfect them, we get better and better at it. And so when we attract people this lifetime around us, we attract them to us because they want to understand within themselves what we've mastered over many lifetimes. So we're not here to work on our failures or our flaws. That's not what we've come here to do. That's a hobby. I want you to get that. Too many people come here thinking they've come here to fix these things about themselves, and we haven't. We've come here to share the love that is us, our unique vibration, the thing about us that makes us unique. That's why people are attracted to us. There's some kind of thing that they know, if they hang around us or they have a conversation or they be involved with us for a period of time, that they will get what they need to be able to continue with their particular journey. And that happens over and over and over. It's like this. People come in and they go out. They come in and they go out like this. Sometimes we meet one person once, we never meet them ever again. In any lifetime. Okay. So why is reincarnation such a secret conversation? Why is that? Well, I'll tell you why. Because when we understand we are already one with all things. We're already one with all things, but everything out here has us believe that we're not. Has us believe that we're separate to God. We're not already connected with God. A lot of people think we're striving to meet God or we're striving. No, we're already all connected. We're all energy. So what does that mean? Well, if I were to believe that, I'd be very hard to control. Think about that. Whatever happens this lifetime, it matters, but it's not the be-all and end-all. If it doesn't work out, I'll come back again. I'll try something different. I'll tweak the program I used last time, didn't quite work, and I'll try something different next time because we're always regrouping, always growing, and we're changing as a result of what we learn. If we're not, we're stagnant. And I think that's what's happened with a lot of people in today's age. A lot of people become stagnant spiritually. They look at spirituality as something outside of themselves. They look at it as something that's there to be attained. I don't see it that way. Spirituality is something I already am, and I finally accept that I am. That's a far different place to be in. And it's a place that's impossible to control because none of the material stuff matters. I'm not here for that. I'm here for the spiritual understanding of myself and the opportunity to share with other people and enlighten them in whatever way they need. And it's not for me to say. I'm not out there trying to figure out what other people need. No, I just share from my heart and it will resonate with some people and not with others. Those that doesn't resonate, that's fine. They're not the ones I'm meant to be speaking with. So when we start to believe in it, there's more to this whole process. I'm not saying what that is, but when we start to see there's more to this whole process and we start to explore that, we find out what's actually our own truth. But a lot of people, they don't want to know. They don't want to know what their own truth is right now. Why? Because they're afraid. So they look to somebody else to save them. They look for someone, a government, a spiritual leader, their family, someone from overseas, some hero. We've been born in this hero culture. The people alive today, that's what we've done. It started with Superman, didn't it? Someone from another planet's going to come down and he's going to save, he's going to get change in letterboxes, or letterboxes. That's pretty funny, letterboxes. That's all that's around nowadays. There's no phone boxes. We've been taught that someone out there is going to come in and save the day. All we have to do is sit back on the couch, enjoy ourselves, and everything's going to work out. Everything's going to happen the way it's supposed to. Beautifully work out. Well, we're not programmed that way because it doesn't serve the people who are in control of the scenario around us. That doesn't mean they're in control of us. They can be in control of anything they like out there. It doesn't bother me. Why? Because it's not important. Let me say that again. It's not important. Now, you start to believe in reincarnation, you come back again, you come back again, you come back again. It's not about how much you accumulate this lifetime. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how big your house is. It doesn't matter what job you had or what position you had in that company. None of that matters. Now, a lot of people got that in 2008. A lot of people got that because they worked for 40 years for something and overnight it was taken away from them. There's a lot of people still haven't got that. They still have like what's around them is the most important thing and they'll do whatever it takes to keep it. Those people at the moment aren't very happy. Why is that? Because they're looking outside of themselves for something that they think will make them fulfilled or give them fulfillment or sense of achievement or belonging. It's actually not it. Isn't that interesting? So, I'm not suggesting anyone go out there and start thinking about reincarnation. I'm not. I'll let you know that I do. I've had so many experiences over my lifetime that once I actually got what reincarnation is, that's it. That's reincarnation. I remember lying in a bathtub, not long after I started to really delve into this whole mystery of who I am spiritually. I remember laying there and looking out the window and the sun was shining, thinking, why is I can't have an experience of reincarnation? I actually really get it. It's a little bit like love. As people say, well, prove to me love exists. And you can't. You cannot prove it to anybody. You cannot prove to anyone on the planet love exists. You have to experience it for yourself. And once you experience it, I said, I think this is love. I think that's what that person's talking about. And they got a point of connection. It's the same thing with reincarnation. Because whether you believe it or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is what you believe. So, I'm laying in a bathtub and I said, why can't I have an experience of reincarnation? Then I suddenly heard my voice, which I believe my spiritual helpers, my angels. They said, well, how do you feel about oak tree groves? I said, when I walk in them, I have goosebumps all over. I feel like I've had lifetimes in the oak groves. And they said, well, because you have. I went, I said, I feel the same thing about vineyards. And they said, that's because you've had a previous lifetime or more involved in vineyards and wine. I love wine. And so I started to understand that these little fleeting memories that I have or feelings that I have were actually remembrance of something from the past. And the more I started to play with that, the more comfortable I came with what I'm experiencing this lifetime. It's that simple. It's an exploration, folks. It's not a place of, I've now got the truth. I've never said that, and I don't say that. I never say I've got the truth. But what I am doing, I'm exploring very powerfully and passionately my own truth. I'm exploring what it means for me and understanding myself more. The more we do that, the less we can be controlled. Think about that. If you want to be less controlled, then be willing to let go of everything you're afraid of losing. Because you cannot lose your connection with God, because it's always there, no matter what, and no matter what's going on around you, and no matter what anyone tells you. The only time you give up on it is when you give up on it. It still doesn't disappear. You just think it's not there. Everything else is transient. So, my little inspiration for tonight. Enjoy.